First of all, where did Catherine go? There she is. Thank you for inviting me for tonight. I really appreciate it. It's a really great honor to share this book with all of you. I didn't really know what domestic violence meant. So I asked Strong Oak, who is the prevention coordinator at Nelquit, and she helped me understand that what happened to me as a child is a form of domestic violence. What I didn't realize is that the sexual and emotional and physical abuse that I experienced as an adult was, I didn't really realize that that happened to me, that it was really domestic violence. I didn't know anything about that. The reason that I didn't think of it as anything was because what happened to me as a child was so severe. The reason I'm talking about this is because so many of us who are abused as children go on to draw abusive relationships to us. As children, we are taught that we are worthless, that we are nothing, that we are to blame, that this is what we deserve. We go on to make these choices which are just not healthy. I will not be reading any poems this evening that have details of the abuse. I will simply state some facts. I was incested from infancy to 17 when I finally got the courage to say no to my dad. My father brought in as many as 5 additional men at times. There was torture. My mother either watched or walked away, and she blamed me. I will start by reading a few poems from the first part of the book about what happened to me, just to give a sense of the repercussions of this form of abuse, really any abuse for a child. But I don't want this reading to be all about abuse or pain. I want it to be more about healing from the pain. The Blooming of the Lotus, A Spiritual Journey from Trauma into Light, is a book about the process of my healing from the brutal incest, violence, and torture of my childhood. It is a story of hope and victory and a resource for trauma survivors, especially women, and for the professionals who impact their lives. I wrote it over a period of 5 years, starting a few months before my mother died in early 2009. My father died when I was 27, and it wasn't until both of them were gone that my body must have felt I was ready to receive the worst of the memories. I wrote this book in collaboration with trauma specialist Dr. Andrea Wild. She organized the poems clinically into chapters that follow the natural order of healing. So whether you read this book sequentially or choose a chapter that resonates with where you are in the moment, reading these poems will make you know that you are not alone. The first poem that I will read is from the chapter Childhood. It's called Worthless. It's pretty much where it all begins. Oh. 3 years old. Daddy comes to me and says, "Be a good girl. Do as I say. Then, be a good girl. smile while I do it. I don't understand. Again, I don't know how to smile when I don't feel like smiling. So he holds me down fiercely and slaps me and tells me I am bad. But I can't cry because he'll tell me that I'm really bad. The bad sinks in to way down deep. It sits in there and makes me feel like I'm full of worms. I feel dirty and know I can't do good or ever be good. I am 3 years old and worth nothing. From the chapter The Abyss, Flesh. Today, I reached a place of darkness so deep I could wish for 10 inches of added flesh all around my body to keep me separated from the harmful world I have awakened to. All I could do was lie in a fetal position with my thumb in my mouth. The pain so severe, I could not imagine it ever letting up. The green grass, a clear sky, for once meant nothing to me. I thought to gorge myself on chocolate and steak, but a part of me fighting to be alive chose salad and fish with a small bit of chocolate. I watched a movie about Beatrice Potter, took a bath, letting the air outside the window call to me. And I am hoping to drag myself to breathing enough so tomorrow I might see the sun. From the chapter Mother. In the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, the White Witch signified evil. The White Witch in childhood. I feel ice in my veins, as if the White Witch of Narnia had cast a spell on me of lies and hatred and crimes I was accused of that I did not commit. I am torn, my limbs having no bones to hold me up. And I feel the fluid in my veins that she put there. A potion that in moments will turn me to stone. This was my childhood. To be forced to live as if I were of stone. To never be allowed to feel or breathe or know love or kindness. the spell to continue until I could find the antidote. Until I, only I, could discover how to bring love and kindness into my life, along with forgiveness and compassion for myself. Until then, I would remain frozen by her evil, dead as I live. From the chapter Rage, Explosion. The lid is locked. Pressed down so hard all my life, what has built up inside is past ready to explode. Leaking out at the edges, it takes all of me to keep it under control because I have to as I finish what I have promised. But soon, I will let the gasket blow and the power crushed within me, raging all this time, becoming stronger and stronger, more and more volatile, more and more beautiful, in crystalline focus, will shatter its bonds and birth itself to fill the world with images and words so long trapped inside. Part 2. This part follows the progress of the major portion of my healing. I invite all of you to be witness to this process and to the healing tools that I used. One of the most important tools is that of telling. First, telling a therapist, and then, when you are ready, to risk coming out of isolation, daring to tell another human being. Other tools that I used were, of course, writing. This book was incredibly healing for me to write. With the writing, I discovered and expressed myself. I strengthened and empowered myself. In so many of these poems, I wrote my way from a very hard place out to the other side. I also used art. I've been an artist since I was 3 years old, and not so much drawing something or painting something that looked like anything, but so often just getting out what were the feelings inside of me, making marks on paper, anything. Nature was an incredible healer for me. Nature, when you're out in it, has no judgment for you. There are no expectations on you when you're in nature. And if you are able to really look and see, look and hear carefully, listen carefully, you will see and hear messages of guidance and healing in nature. Also, belief. I strongly developed my belief system as I was writing this book and healing, so that I could identify very quickly for myself who or what I needed to call on to help me in that moment. Also, self-nurturing. For those of us who have been raised by people who cannot or will not nurture us, care for us, it is of utmost importance that we learn how to nurture ourselves. From the chapter Rescue, No Boundaries. Growing up, the stone walls around our house were the only boundaries. Within them, everything, and I mean everything, just let fly. Skillets and knives and glasses and hair dryers, razor straps and hands, mouths on the wrong places, mouths flapping in the fierce wind of the ever-present, unchanging, unknown of every next moment. It got so. It wasn't even so much what, as knowing it would be something, and your body had to get ready, like a soldier in the jungle, not knowing when a bullet would hit your heart or you'd stand on a landmine. The chief, my oldest guide, has been calling me since last night. Finally, this morning, he just grabbed me in a 70-year-old bear hug, crushing me to him and saying, "You are no longer a child. You are safe now." Also from the chapter Rescue, the lake. A large patch of earth, uncovered by snow. I scrape even the pine needles away. I lie on the earth, flat out, my cheek pressed against her, my heart. On the way here, I saw the earth's hips, her breasts, the sharp bones of her ribs. The sun shone through the trees in stripes, like a searchlight gone still. As I walked, I did not understand what moved me, so that, as often happens now, tears came. Perhaps the stark beauty in nature, so antithetical to the brutal truth of what I now know. I feel myself borrowing from the life of these trees, from this sun and earth. As I walk now daily in what I can only call near death. Today I know there will be no epiphany, even with the grace and glory of these trees and lake. But as with the talk on the phone with my good friend this morning, I am held, at least, from full dying. from the chapter Healing. Turtle. The memory I have just found tears apart all I have known, my foundation, so I feel I cannot trust myself. But my therapist says, no, you can trust your feelings. You can trust your judgment. It is only certain times a shroud of wavering water falls between you and your inner knowing. But the time is coming, dear one, little by little, when you will be clear. Allow that even with this in your life, you are so strong, you did not die. You are still here, enduring, breathing, fully in your body, and most of all, wanting to heal. The light in you, continuing to grow. Allow the grace of your imperfection, the steps that will stumble. Let the children of your inner self have their own time to move through what they only now know. Allow the pace of the turtle who takes in all around her, not just the beauty of the earth, but the ravishing beauty of you. From the chapter Courage, the shell. Hesitant. I stand at the opening of the cave that is the shell I have carried with me all my life. I have stood at this threshold for 30 years, watching, listening, doing, but not yet able to really step out, pry myself away from what kept me safe as a child. In my late 20s, I crawled to the edge of this shell. I peered around and thought it time to take a chance. I taught myself how to talk at parties instead of lying on the floor between a bed and a wall, buried in coats where they were thrown. But still, I realize I have kept my shell to hide behind. Now, I am ready, maybe, to step forward away from its cover, an inch at a time, to open to at least one besides the one who has heard everything. To bare my insides and this utter grief holding me immobile, and even allow my body seen with extra pounds. To share that I hurt, that I can't anymore. keep it all inside. For fear of the knife or the hands on my throat or other parts at other places. Instead, to hope simply for love. Also from the chapter Courage, before me, wavering on the threshold of a brand new life, behind me lifetimes of being bent over, waiting to be hurt, destroyed. I stand here looking out at sun over mountains and green valleys I have walked so far to find. The air, smoothing my face, is filled with the scent of plum blossoms. But between me and the solid earth I see is a chasm that I do not know how to cross. I want to step forward, releasing all that is behind me. I can feel that when I do, I will hear the solid click of a bolt locking the door forever on what has been. It is difficult for my hand to release its grasp on the threshold. Difficult to leave behind what I have always known. But somewhere in me, part of me also knows that once I do, however afraid I am, somehow, as I take my first step, I will be lifted as on a cloud and magically brought across to exactly where I am supposed to be. And there I will find many plums to pick and eat, many to help me, and so much joy and sustenance in where I am. I will no longer need to walk back through that door ever again. Part 3 is about the continuation of my healing as I use more and more of the healing tools that I have gathered. This poem is from the chapter Giving to Myself, to cherish, honor, and bless. A ruby throw, so soft. A deep rose sweater to wrap myself in. A long, long necklace of glittering amber and violet. Days at the beach. Nights in bed without cares. A vermilion down jacket with a scarf of fuchsia curls. Time to spill out poetry. Showers and baths. Beeswax candles to warm my way. A crowd of pampas grass touching my face my cats held close. Good, healthy food. Chocolate. Pure white sheets. Roses. These are what I choose to cherish, honor, and bless myself, along with all that is given from those around me and from above. From the chapter Into the Lotus, Who I Can Be. As I learn once again to find the way that is right for me, to stand and walk on this earth, I let fall away how I was forced to stand and walk as a child. My body was not my own. Like a river torn from its natural bed, to bend and twist according to the rules of men. Now, like the river, when at last given permission to follow again its own authentic course, I too am learning how to make my body my own. What I am doing these days is moving me along this path. I do something. I acknowledge what I do and that I do it well. I breathe this in and then I rest, even for a few moments. I speak to myself the words a mother and father would have spoken, but not mine. As I do this ritual every time, I am inviting myself to be and recognize who I am. I am allowing the fullness of myself to fill the space that I inhabit. I am feeling safe enough to let happen the growing and then forming of who I came here to be. The chains have fallen away. There is no one forcing anymore. There is only my own voice claiming that this is what I need. And then discovering in those moments of breath and appreciation and rest, the wholeness and possibility of who it is my right to be. And from the chapter The Lotus, Path of the Moon. At high tide, I sat on the rocks, the water near to where I was. I waited to be splashed. The full orange moon shining down, lighting a path between us. Inching closer and closer, staying to stone, not slippery. So many times I nearly felt the water. And as I waited, what I found was my own power reaching me, touching me, telling me, I am here. When at last the big splash came, I laughed aloud with joy. Such a gift to be here in this life at this time with who I have become. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, all of you. Holy cow, wow, cool. Thank you, really. What a great honor. I send you all tremendous healing wherever you are on your paths. I really send it to you, and I know that what happened to me was given to me so that I could be here and just speak and tell and just give whatever I can to help others heal. So thank you very much.